And if you were lighter than that brown paper bag, then you were asked to sit on this side of the room. James, can you go ahead and turn the lights on? So I want an honest reaction as to how did that make you feel? That's what who does?
Everybody.
You sit to where you feel comfortable. So you automatically segregate yourself. Okay? So this crowd over here.
Over here.
So I'm going to start with the group that's lighter than the brown paper bag. All you students that are sitting in this side, you're lighter than this brown paper bag. Are you okay in your section? No. No? Who said no? Why are you not okay in your section? Okay.
You know, and that's me. I see the girls here that I know I wanted to sit with as the girls. And I think they all see me as Miss Teresa. I don't think they see me as a white old lady.
Okay.
You know, because there's nobody quite like Miss Teresa. So, you know, it just frustrates me that I think we perpetuate that.
I like your frustration. Are you listening to her?
If I have litter cats, and my mama cat, she's gray, white, whatever, she has this bag of litter. One of them's orange, one of them's black, one of them's speckled, striped, whatever. They all came from the same mom. They all leave red. Why do we have to sit there and say that one's cuter because it's got stripes?
Okay.
You know, that one's cuter because it's orange.
So Ms. Teresa is saying that we all are the same on the inside and we all bleed red, correct? Okay? The ones that are matching the brown paper bag, how do you feel? Matching. I mean, I would be in your section almost. I mean, I don't know if I would be. You know, half of me should be over there, and the other half of me should be over there, but you know, we're just kind of like, I'm just right where y'all are.
So that makes us outcasts.
It doesn't make you outcasts. It's just at this point, for this presentation, that's where you're sitting at.
Okay.
So you feel that, Ms. Teresa said everybody bleeds the same.
No, you don't.
Right? And you said that people kind of segregate themselves because that's where they feel more comfortable at.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, my group that happens to be darker than the brown paper bag, how does that make you feel?
I'm not darker than the brown paper bag. I'm pecan.
And whatever you need to do to make yourself feel good. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you need to do to make yourself feel good. So Ms. Teresa's comment was that we all are the same inside, we all bleed the same. And so Alan is actually sitting by somebody that we all have in common, that we all are like. So if you go ahead and slowly remove that.
Hey girl. Hey boy. Hey girl.
Okay, so she was correct, right? In her reference that we all are the same on the inside. We all bleed the same. I removed your skin, Siobhan, or Haley, I took your skin off. Everybody's looking just like a skeleton up here, right? Looking just like Wilbur. Let's call him Wilbur for the evening. Looking just like Wilbur. So if I did a brown paper bag test on him, and I know the outside of him look like, where would I place him? I mean, does Meryl have a color? He looks cream. Cream is in between. Okay. Okay. Alan said he doesn't have no collar until he hits, air hits him. Yeah. So he actually isn't going to have no collar at all until he has breath in him, right? Till he has breath. Y'all have breath? Yes? If you didn't, please let me know. We'll find a way to call 911. Get you out of here really fast. At the beginning, I asked you to listen to the song, "The Change Is Going to Come." And no, we're not going to have church tonight, because sometimes something comes in, you just got to work with it, you just got to go with it, right? So that's what we're going to do tonight. So a change is going to come. What does that change? What does he mean by that? What does Sam Cooke mean when he wrote that song? He wrote that song in 1963. And it didn't get published until 1964. And it got published after he died. And they said there were two reasons that he wrote the song. Number one reason was that his 18-month-old had an accidental drowning. Okay? And then the second one was him and his band tried to go to a hotel that was whites only, and they all got arrested. So he wrote the song, and I want you to listen to the last of the lyrics. It says, "A change is gonna come." He said, "I don't think I can last that long." You ever been in situations where you didn't feel like you could last that long? You ever been in situations where you didn't think you could last that long? Somebody hears me, right? I mean, you've been in situations where practice might have been too long, you homesick, you don't know what's going on, but you've been in situations where you don't think you're going to last very much longer. And that was the first verse. He said, "I don't think I'm going to last very much longer, but I think I'm going to make it." Okay, he said, "I think I'm going to make it." Think? That sounds doubtful to me. I think I'm going to make it. Change is going to come, but I think that I'm going to make it. And then he said, "I know change is going to come. It's been a long time coming, but change is going to come." What change is he talking to in reference to the Black History Month or African American History Month? Segregation. You believe so? So tonight I've segregated you. But let me tell you this. The first time I came to your university and I walked into the cafeteria, you were already sitting like this. So I didn't do anything different than what you already do yourself every day. Whether the basketball players are sitting together, softball players sitting together, baseball players sitting together, you all segregate yourself. So today, don't act surprised that you're sitting where you put yourself. See, if Sam Cooke decided that he was going to release this song because he was interested in some change that was going to come, he didn't necessarily get to see all that change. But before he was able to pass away, he did give this rights to Martin Luther King to his Christian Leadership Conference, the copyright, so that it could be used. Any questions so far? Anybody know where Black History Month, African American History Month got started? Oh, so throw me some names.
Africa.
Africa? A name. Give me a name.
President Lincoln.
President Lincoln? The Black History, you're partly right. Because Black History Month got started by a gentleman named Carter G. Woodson. Okay? And he chose the week, he chose a Black History Week, and he chose the month of February because it represented Abraham Lincoln's birthday, and also, let me refresh my memory real quick. Also Frederick Douglass. Okay? So yeah, you were correct on that. Has anybody ever heard of Carter G. Woodson?
You have.
Okay. What do you know about him, sir?
Not as much as I'd like. I believe that he was an African-American historian, if I recall something of that kind.
Yes, sir. Well, okay.
At the university, one of the ones that was established before the education.
Nobody can hear you, Dr. Leland.
People. I'm not sure if it was Howard University, I'm not sure. It was one of the...
Harvard.
Howard, I was thinking. I could be wrong which one, but he was a professor, an African-American professor, is my recollection.
Correct. I'm going to go ahead and read an excerpt of what your professor just went over. See, Carter G. Woodson was born in 1875 in Virginia. Anybody from Virginia here? Okay. So this will give you a little bit of extra knowledge about where it is that you came from. He was the son of freed slaves and worked as a sharecropper to help his family. He was one of the first African Americans to receive a doctorate from Harvard. He dedicated his career to the field of African American history. See, he didn't just want to talk about African American history. He wanted to talk about American history and African American history and how that collided with each other. Sorry that you guys have to be separated. That's good? Okay. Now, he lobbied for Black History Week and it got passed. Like I said, who were the two people that he chose to have the February 4th? Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln. Who is Frederick Douglass? Correct, James. He's an abolitionist. Is Frederick Douglass, what side would he be sitting on?
That one.
No, he wouldn't. He would be sitting in the middle because he was considered a mulatto. Do you know what that is? Halfway, half black, slave term for the master's child. Now, Frederick Douglass wrote a book. Anybody know what the book's called? Oh, I'm so disappointed tonight that you guys don't know. It's been a while. It's been a long time coming out, he said, right? But you know change is going to come. But what I want you to understand is that he did not just want to focus on African American history. He wanted to focus on African American history through American history. So that meant if there were African Americans that were in the armed forces and not getting credit for it, he wanted it to be in the literature books and the history books that yes, that was taking place. You ever heard of the Tuskegee Airmen? Okay, who was the Tuskegee Airmen?
They were Alabama, I think it is. They were the ones that would be like that movie that just came out, they were like the red tails. They was always the one to watch the people who was in front back to make sure they didn't get hurt.
Okay. Now, was every abolitionist light skin, dark skin? Okay, most of the abolitionists that we can contribute to will be on this side, right? Because they had the most power, so they were able to help individuals get through certain situations. I didn't want to come up here and talk about individuals that we always hear about during Black History Month, like Martin Luther King Jr. I mean, I appreciate him and I respect him, but I didn't want to talk about him. Rosa Parks, she did what?
Sit on the bus.
Sit on the bus. Okay. Harriet Tubman.
She ran away
Underground Railroad. So it's some of the same individuals that you hear time and time again. So this Carter G. Woodson is basically why we're celebrating this Black History Month. Anybody ever heard of Lucy Terry? Lucy Terry. No? Lucy Terry was an enslaved person in 1746. She became the earliest known Black African American poet when she writes about the last American Indian Indian attack on her village of Deerfield, Massachusetts. Her poem is Bar's Fight, and it wasn't published until 1855. Have any of you ever heard that before I mentioned it today?
No.
It doesn't take much to dwell back into your history and learn a little bit. So the reason that I separated you also is because I wanted you to understand. Let's see who I can pick to come down. Abdul, can you come down and stand right here? Come right here. Haley. Go ahead and stand in the front. Hey, go 50, go 20, go 70, go 75, go 80, go 90, go 20. Whoa, who was alive? Kareem, 55, 67, he can, what? Okay, that is how it was back when you were on your post. However, Haley would have had her children standing off to the side. And they would make sure that her children were not within 12 miles of her. So if she had a 4-month-old or a 2-month-old, that 2-month-old, 4-month-old, 12-year-old, whatever, was taken away. Okay? And so people would come up and say, no offense, Haley, you know, she has pretty good, strong arms. I think she's going to be able to lift something for me. You know, maybe the master might say she's quite pretty. I think I'll be able to have her at the house. Kareem, I'm being serious, so this laughter is hopefully turned into nervous laughter. Because when I was reading it and I was thinking about it, I said to myself, you know, I don't know if I want my child separated from me. No matter of fact, I know that I wouldn't want my child separated from me. Jay, would you want our son separated from us?
What kind of question is that?
But if Jason and myself, and for those of you who don't know, this is my significant other, and I appreciate him being here this evening. But if you did not know Mr. Jason and myself, and we had to stand up on a pole, I'm standing there, and Mr. Jason's standing there, and they separate us because we're family. And Jason goes 15 miles down the road, and I go 20 miles down the road, and maybe I get to see my son when he's like 24. But by that time, I'm all worked out. And so maybe my son gets to see me right before I pass, and he doesn't get to attend my funeral. Because most of the times when the abolitionists or the slave, you would be house slaves because of your color of your skin, and you would be field slaves, which means you have more to hear and know what's going on. So you have more control than what they have control of, okay? So me and Mr. Jason would be standing up there and we would get separated. No one would get to see, I would get to see him, he would get to see me, and I would get to see my son. So Kareem over here, his skill, he's a good cook. Okay? Anybody need a cook? Anybody need a cook? How much you give me for a cook? $2. $2? Kareem? What is your last name?
Santana.
You are no longer Kareem. What's your last name? You are no longer Kareem. What was your last name again? I'm sorry.
Santana.
You are Santana. Santana number 1. Go be seated by your new master, Kareem. Go ahead and go up there and get seated by your master, Kareem.
I got $20.
It doesn't matter what color you are at this point, Kareem, you just got sold. Abdul, he's a really good field hand. $5. $10. I got 10, who's gonna give me 12? 12? 15, anybody going higher? 18, 20, $50. $150. Now, baby, let me remind you that you would have been a slave. You would have had that much money back then. Okay? You might have $270 think about Miss Teresa? You know, I saved the female for last. Kareem don't come with horses because he's a cook.
But I'll give you 2 horses for the girl.
We don't take horses. Now, only my great sharecroppers get to bid on Haiti. Okay, so some of you are out already. All right, so Jessica, you get to bid. Art, you get to bid. I can't even speak with you. What's your name? Okay. No, I'm sorry.
I've been wanting to be on her all day.
Valentine's Day is over. Where the chapel is, keep it clean with the chapel. Where the chapel lady. Now, Jessica, she has a great bit of acreage where she lives at, and she has a huge mansion. Okay, and Art, he owns 50% of the slaves in where he's from. And Kenny, he has control over his master because he's messing with the master's wife. Okay? Listen, this is funny now, but what would Haiti's children be thinking if they had to be off to the side? What would Haiti's kids be thinking if they had to be off to the side and they had to see their mom get auctioned off? We're going to start it off at 300. Art, 300. Jessica says no. Kenny, are you in? 301. 350. 352.
500 for her and the children.
500 for her and the children. Are you okay with that? Go ahead. Now let me ask you, why did he take her children?
So he was celebrating.
No, because he can have her.
They can work up and they don't stop. They don't work when they get
So he might have got 4 for the price of 1, correct? 4 for the price of 1. Okay? Christina, come down here. Christina is an abolitionist, and she came in from Virginia. And unfortunately, I'm going to tell you her obituary, okay? Christina was a 26-year-old young lady, and she believed that people should not be separate, they should be equal. And it was right around the time when Abraham Lincoln was getting ready to do the proclamation for emancipation. And she decided that she was going to help the slaves that were on her dad's farm. How y'all think that went if I'm reading her obituary? She got caught. She got caught helping 4 slaves. Okay? Light-skinned slaves, dark-skinned slaves. And she had some abolitionist friends as well. And at this point, she was shot in the back. Shot in the back. Running with 4 slaves. Running. Because we heard in the beginning that change is going to come, and Christina was trying to make that change come because it was a long time coming. And she thought she was able to, but she wasn't. See, a lot of times in history, we don't hear about those individuals that took the time to go to somebody and say, listen, it's okay, you can come with me. Please, Siobhan, run with me? We're gonna go someplace. She says, I know this lady named Harriet Tubman that has an underground railroad, and I know it's about 15, 25 miles down the road. And if we can get there, we'll be all right. And the slave said, okay, I'm good. I'll come with you. But Christina got shot in the back, and unfortunately, so did those 4 other slaves, and she didn't make it to freedom. None of y'all made it to freedom. Or did you? You have a seat. You have a seat. So that was a sad story because she was trying to help somebody. They believed that they were going to do something. And unfortunately, they didn't make it. How many people do you think didn't make it? Hundreds? Thousands of people didn't make it. Okay? If you're still segregating yourselves in your classrooms and segregating yourselves in the cafeteria, I thought you made it. What are you doing?
You don't think they got a lot to do with the area too, though?
I think the area is an excuse.
If you're getting treated like that in the area, you don't think that would have a reflect on how you act in that area?
It possibly could.
If you're getting treated like it's still that same time, you don't think that is going to have an effect on how you feel and so how you would distance yourself?
Harriet Tubman said that she would have been able to save more slaves if she could convince them that they weren't slaves. Do you understand what that means, Brittany? She could convince them that they wasn't slaves. So if I'm telling you that you're not a slave anymore, if I'm telling you that you are not enslaved anymore and whatever it is that is enslaving you, that you have freedom, you just got to search for that freedom, then who's holding you back? Comments? Society? Yourself? Parents? There's a lot of people sometimes that hold you back. But once you get that power and you're empowered, and you say, look, you know what? I'm not going to be in a situation any longer. See, throughout history's definition says the record of a past event, especially in connection with the human race. Okay, so a half hour ago was history, correct? 20 minutes ago was history. 4 days ago was history. So if you allow history to repeat itself, it's going to repeat itself. So if you allow the community that you're in to enslave you, and I'm choosing to use that word for tonight, if you allow that community to enslave you, then you're allowing yourself to be enslaved because you're not allowing yourself to be free. She said that she saved probably about 1,500 slaves. And if she could have, she would have been able to save thousands more. But she couldn't convince them anymore that they wasn't slaves. They believed that they was a slave because they had been beat to death, slappers on their backs, no shoes, they'd been raped, no food, they had to fight. And then all of a sudden someone's going to come and tell you, you ain't a slave no more? Who would believe that? You ain't a slave no more. Well, I don't know. Them over there, they got papers saying they ain't a slave. I mean, so why would the other people not escape with her? They didn't have faith in her. So if you're in a community that treats you a certain way, then you got to find resources so that you can find somebody to tell you and help you believe in yourself. Brittany, you ain't enslaved. You're free, baby. Okay? You're free. If you're in a community that makes you feel like you're not, you got to do something to get out of it. You understand?
You graduated. That's right. That's right.
You guys got any questions before I move on?
I gave my slave his free pass. He's no longer a slave. He's a free citizen. He has his paper.
Abdul, you can choose to go to whatever section it is you would like to go.
What are you going to say? Right. You get everything. It's getting cold soon.
All right, but still, once the slaves got free, the civil rights movement has said, Whites only, collards only. You're free?
Oh, y'all release some words. You can work.
Now, how many times do you think that masters actually released their slaves?
That never slipped in it.
It happened. It happened a lot. It happened a lot. That is why most people don't truly know their last name, because they took their master's last name. So don't think that one race completely held you down, because if you take a look around and see where you are, where you're sitting, I'm going to give you the opportunity right now to get up and move and sit where you want to sit. You got 30 seconds to get up and move and sit where you want to sit.
It's cold, they got AC. When y'all cold, go knock on the door. See, please don't come back.
So y'all comfortable?
My knees hurt. Yeah, my knees hurt.
Knees hurt? I can help you with that right there. Baseball players. I'm about to go over somebody that hopefully you should know. I'm going to read some stats about him and you tell me what you think his name is. Jackie Robinson. Are you correct? And who I'm about to read? Jackie Robinson, you're correct. He broke the Major League Baseball's color barrier when he signed to the Brooklyn Dodgers by Branch Wrigley. He's also signed to the Hall of Fame as well, correct? Anything else you want to tell me about Jackie Robinson? Huh?
All they know is that he was black and he was the first black man in baseball.
First black rookie of the year.
First black rookie of the year. Who is James Meredith? James Meredith. Anybody ever heard of him? I told you I'm not gonna bring out Martin Luther King, Harriet Tubman, and Rosa Parks. We hear that all year long. Who's James Meredith? Zoe, you have an idea? James Meredith became the first black student to enroll at the University of Mississippi. Him and President Kennedy sent 5,000 federal troops after the riot broke out. So first black student to enroll in Mississippi. And President Kennedy had to send out 5,000 troops for one gentleman. 5,000. I think 3 or 4 would have been enough. You think? No, not then. President Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act. What year was that? Y'all thinking?
64.
64.
64, that's correct. This one's from Mr. Jason. I'm going to read a little bit about it and tell me who I'm talking about. This is the Black nationalist and founder of the Organization of Afro-American Unity.
I don't know.
He's all over our walls.
I know. Malcolm X.
Malcolm X. You got to think about that one for a minute? No? I should have tricked you up a little bit. Who was Thurgood Marshall? What is he, Siobhan? What is Thurgood? Who is Thurgood Marshall?
Supreme Court,
First black Supreme Court judge. All right? What case Said Thurgood Marshall, was he over that ended segregation?
Something versus Brown. Brown versus education.
Brown versus Board of Education, correct. Who is the first African American president? Barack Obama. I thought I'd throw an easy one in there, see if you guys can get it. On February 9th, the first African American female flight crew took their historic flight, having come together accidentally when scheduled first officer called in sick. Captain Michelle Jones, first officer Stephanie Grant, and flight attendants Diane Galloway, Robin Rogers flew together on the Atlantic Southeast Airlines flight from Atlanta to Nashville. That didn't happen until 2009. What year is it? I thought he said a change was going to come. It's only been 3 years.
It took about to get Barack in the house. He got longer too. He said he's going to come. He didn't say all that.
So who knows the reason why I played Sam Cooke? Because he's got some type of soulful music, it's quiet. What did most of the time slaves sing for on the plantations? I'm sorry? For freedom? Keep themselves where? Entertained? Keep hope? No, he's saying for other reasons. You guys got to think a little bit harder.
I think it was a message.
Message, you're correct. It was a message, okay? So if there was a message on the plantation that the slaves needed to sing about, how you think it went? Somebody want to come down and try to give it a try?
I know this coming.
What did you say?
It's a bunch of them. I can't think.
Well, just come down and sing one.
Wait.
You only got to do like 2-3 lines out of it.
Can we just sing like
Give it the record.
So why do I care if you're wading in the water?
Wait, what was the question?
Why would I care if you're wading in the water?
That's
That was supposed to be what?
That was supposed to be where they used to meet up.
Where they was to meet at, exactly right. So if I'm wading in the water, Haley, where you gonna meet up at with me? In the water, right? You gonna meet up with me in the water. You gonna have all your people, we're gonna have all our people gonna meet up in the water. And we're wading it, right? What else? What else happens after that? Wade in the water and what?
Yeah, I don't know the rest.
So what else can we make up to go with that? We're gonna wade in the water, that's where we're gonna be at. What time we're gonna be there?
at night.
At night. Ready? So we wade in the water
So they could go.
at night.
Don't they say that? Wasn't that to the
Excuse me?
Wasn't that to lead them to the Underground Railroad?
Everything used to happen at night. So the Underground Railroad, if that was before time, and that didn't exist, then we would have to find other ways to get to our location. So if we're wading in the water, okay, it might be cold, right? So we need to make sure that we have some shoes on. Do we have shoes? We gotta make some shoes, right? Wading in the water, we got some shoes. We're gonna meet up at night. Okay, where are we going? North. Okay. Kevin, come here.
You got some good shoes on for that water.
I'm gonna get him.
He gonna make it.
Zoe. I want y'all to go ahead and see what we just said. We said we were going to wade in the water at night. And we're going north. All right? So let's go ahead and come. Kevin. He's going to wait.
Go ahead, Kevin.
They say I'm wading in the water. It's at night. And we're going north. Go ahead, start them off. What time we wait in the water?
2 p.m.
Kevin would have got us killed. 2 o'clock. So tell me what time we going in the water.
At night.
We're going at night. Where we going? North. Okay, so we're not going at 2 o'clock. Okay, we're not going at 2 o'clock because Kevin would have done got us killed. We don't want to go no place. No, we're going at night. Kevin had to bake. Give Kevin a round of applause. And so also on the plantation or during church, they had a song. And so I'm gonna have a couple people come up here and I'm gonna teach you a song. Can you turn the page? Can you turn the number 16 for me? So let me pick my individuals first. Robert, Dwayne, you can come down. Nicole, Jessica. Okay. Now, I'm gonna show you how this little dance goes. You gotta get your hands out your pocket. We're in the chapel. You gotta make sure you don't curse Jessica, okay? Okay. So the dance is called A Little Red Rooster, right? You ever heard that song? So I'm gonna introduce you to some music called Little Red Rooster. All right. So basically, what I want them to do is they're gonna act like they're in a chicken coop, and they're gonna move their arms back. The reason that this happened is because a lot of times at the meetings they had to pretend like they were having church, okay, and they had to pretend that they were enjoying themselves so that other people could be meeting in the back, and they could not. They kind of masked what was actually going on. So in the back, Alan and myself are going to be plotting where our next move is going to be. But if anybody else would have to come in, if our masters would have to come in, or if an abolitionist would have to come in that we wasn't quite sure about, then we would be doing this little rooster dance, okay? And if y'all feel like getting the move of it in your seat, you just gotta go with the flow. I'm doing that at the house, Siobhan, that's why. My son was doing it last night, trying to get Mr. Jason to do it, but he wouldn't do it. You can kick your foot up too if you like something. If you gotta just kick your foot up. So I'm gonna have Kevin go ahead and Alan, go ahead and play a song that has dancers in the front. Yeah. Now, I know a little bit of y'all are embarrassed right there. That's a new dance. Don't try to hide. Don't try to take that from me when you go out. Okay. You know you all gonna be doing it tonight in the dorm room. No, this is not. So while that was going on, Alan and myself, we left here deciding where our next move was. Going to bed. Okay, and what we were going to do is we were going to do a sit-in. We're trying not to get sprayed by fire hoses. But unfortunately, on the way to the sit-in, there was a bombing at a church. You know what I'm talking about? How many little girls died in that church bombing? Four little girls. Okay? So if somebody at this point in time said, chapel is about to blow up, what would you do? You'll take off running, right? A chapel would be a place where you would think that there ain't gonna be no bombing in the church. There'll be no bombing in the church. But who bombed that church?
I don't know how to answer
Was it us?
It was not you, Nicole. It was not you. Do you think that racism still exists in 2012? You can explain your situation without using any names.
Yes, I don't know her name.
Okay, what happened?
Oh, we was at Subway. She started cussing out some boys in front of us. Long story short, it went to you people need to go back to where you came from.
Okay, you people need to go back to where you came from.
And Obama.
And Obama, okay. So did she think like you Salem International students need to go back to where you came from?
We thought that until she said, and Obama.
And Obama, okay. So Obama, he's like, lives in Hawaii, so that's where he would come from. Siobhan, where you from?
New York.
You be going back to New York. You be going back to... Because who in here came from Africa? I know some of you. Okay, I do. Okay. Okay. So only a couple of you are for real from the homeland, right? Okay. Do you take offense to us saying African American? No? Do you know people that do? No? You do?
My mom, she likes to be called colored.
Your mom likes to be called colored? Does anybody know the history of the words? It first started off with Negro, right? Okay, Negro. Okay, then what did it go to?
The A-R.
You can say it.
Nigger. Okay, the E-R. Okay. Listen, do you know why they first started using the word, the N-E-G-G-R, N-I-G-G-R word? Because most of the slaves were coming from Nigeria. Okay, so they were calling you by where you're from, and then individuals who were ignorant turned it into a negative term. Okay, so most of the slaves were coming from Nigeria, so Nigeria would be then Negro, which was a color, right? A color of your skin. Okay, so they referred to those. Then it was the other individuals who we have no power over who decided to change it to G-G-E-R at the end and make it a negative connotation. But I talked about this in class the other day, and I'm going to talk about with you today. Just because you say G-A at the end does not make it right. Now, if you want to raise your hands for things, let's raise your hand for this. If you say G-G-A, raise your hand.
It's my favorite word.
Okay? Mr. Jason? You ever said that word? You have said it? Miss Amber, have you ever said that